Gervonta Tank Davis speaks on Floyd Mayweather and his relationship with Tank. Tank was very honest. He was raw and uncut about his relationship with Floyd and how, he appreciates what Floyd did for him, putting him on the map, giving him attention, of course, and, kind of being that launching pad for Tank's career and putting him in situations where, he could showcase his skills. He's definitely grateful for that. But he talked about how he doesn't really, at this moment, have much respect for Floyd because he felt like Floyd sabotaged him at, a point in his career, specifically when Floyd lined that fight up between Gervonta Davis and Jose Pedraza. Tank felt like Floyd Mayweather wanted him to lose that fight. He felt like all of Mayweather Promotions wanted Tank to lose that fight. And, Tank honestly talked about how that fight was the most angry he's ever been, and that's why you could see the result. The punishment that Pedraza took was from a place of, fire in Tank's heart because he felt like Floyd was, preying on Tank's downfall. And he kind of talked about how Floyd, he did help him out and everything like that, but he has some, speculations and is a little bit skeptical about how genuine Floyd Mayweather was throughout guiding Tank through that process. And, he feels like for, Floyd to line up a fight between Tank and Pedraza at a point in Tank's career where, he hadn't fought in 6 to 8 months was a little bit, ignorant of Floyd Mayweather, and it wasn't really in his best interest to put, Tank against a guy who was very credible and, a veteran, a guy like Pedraza, because, ultimately it's a difficult fight for him. But Tank ended up winning that fight regardless. So it was interesting to hear that. There's a lot of people saying, well, why would Floyd want Tank to lose? And, Tank responded and talked about some personal stuff and said that it had to do with, his relationship with Floyd Mayweather and some of Floyd Mayweather's family members. So, as a result, maybe Floyd had a little bit of ill will towards Tank. At least that's how Tank interpreted it. But ultimately, Tank is a really exciting fighter. You guys already know that. We want to see him in bigger fights, better fights. We know that Lamont Roach isn't to be played with, but at the same time, we're talking about one of the best lightweights in the world, Gervonta Davis, and he's fighting a guy that's technically coming up from 130. And, the big fight that we all want to see Tank in is for, Tank to fight Shakur Stevenson. And even Floyd Mayweather talked about how, Shakur has to fight, Tank has to fight Shakur Stevenson because that's ultimately the fight to make in the sport of boxing. But, now that Floyd has said that vocally, I think, in Tank's mind, he almost doesn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson simply because Floyd wants that fight to go down. So, Tank's just a rebellious individual to begin with, and that has a lot to do with just who he is as a person. He doesn't do what people want him to say. That's what has made him different. That's why he's such a attraction to the sport of boxing. That's why everybody cares about what he says. He doesn't really have a great relationship with anybody if you think about it within the sport of boxing, because he said there's no friends in this. He's been saying that. Even with Shakur Stevenson, they had a friendship earlier in both of their careers, but now that Tank and Shakur are in the same weight class, they're both title holders. Tank made it clear that he doesn't want to have any friends. So that's where Tank's at. He's doing his own thing. He doesn't want to listen to anybody. He doesn't want to have to report to anybody. Of course, he appreciates what Floyd has done, but ultimately, is a little bit skeptical about how genuine it is and where it's coming from in Floyd's heart. And, he just thinks that Floyd Mayweather put Tank in a position where, he thought that, Tank would lose to Pedraza. Tank obviously passed that test with flying colors, stopping Pedraza. And I think that's one of the best wins that Tank has to date, but he's got that Lamont Roach fight coming March 1st. I'll be there covering it, so stay tuned on the channel for all of that content. And it's going to be interesting. And ultimately, we all pick Tank to win that fight, but how good, will Lamont Roach look in that fight? How much resistance will he put up against a guy like Tank? And, if Tank does go through Lamont Roach like we expect him to, how, willing is he to fight a guy like Shakur Stevenson, which is ultimately the fight that we all want to see. But let me know in the comments who you guys think that Tank should fight next after Lamont Roach and what you think about his relationship with Floyd. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.